Little niggas, get your weight up. Fuck y'all, pay up. My balls just as slick as my dick and both stay up. Nicer than me.
What is up, my fellow hip hop heads and music lovers in general? My name is G-Benz and welcome back to my channel where every Friday I take a look at all the new albums that some of my artists have released in hopes that you guys will like what I have to say about them and in hopes that I can get some of you into some new music. This is now the second and final upload for today, the final review I gotta do today. So yeah, let's get right to it. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about the new album by Snoop Dogg called I Wanna Thank Me. It is his 17th studio album, and he has really, he drops a lot of shit. He has been dropping a lot of like new albums. I don't know how many of you heard about this, but last year he actually dropped his very first gospel album called The Bible of Love. And I personally didn't listen to it only because I'm not into like that kind of music, but I have heard a lot of great things about that. So he definitely, impressed a lot of people, and he definitely, has been doing everything right, as he always does. But I think I speak for all of us when I say that even though Snoop always, like experiments with other sounds like reggae and pop and gospel and all that shit. Like I think I speak for all the like old school like hip hop heads and even like the new school hip hop heads. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we all get excited to see what else Snoop Dogg is gonna do when he goes back to hip hop and starts spitting his fucking like words of wisdom, his words of like gangsta wisdom and all that shit. It's like I think I speak for all when I say we all get excited for that. Now, I have heard a lot, and I mean a lot of great albums by Snoop Dogg. My favorite album will always be Doggy Style. That will always be like up there as the best album by Snoop Dogg in my opinion. I also really love Dead Man Walking and The Dog Father. Like he has dropped so many like good stuff, and he has never really disappointed a lot of us. And even with his new stuff, he has always made a lot of like great like new albums. You know what I mean? It's like I think it was in 2017 when he dropped that album called Never Left. Yeah, that's what the album is called. And he also made that album in 2016 called Kool-Aid. But out of all the like new albums that he has dropped, I think that this one, I Wanna Thank Me, is probably his best album in a very long time, and it's definitely like gotten up there for me as like my top 5 favorite like albums that he's ever dropped. He goes very fucking hard in this one. So where to start? First of all, you think you know what to expect when you like initially like think of like, oh, it's just another album by Snoop Dogg. It's like he's gonna do the same thing. No, he's fucking not. He is definitely stepped out of the box for this one. So pretty much Snoop Dogg pays a very big like tribute to the G-Funk era. That's like his time. That's when him and a lot of other like old school artists were like like at their prime, to say the least. And he also pays tribute to to the new school hip hop, because I feel that Snoop Dogg is one of those artists that that has definitely become a very big icon in hip hop and just in the world in general. It's like, even if you're not a hip hop fan, who Snoop Dogg is. It's like he has such a like iconic voice. He has such a like iconic style and all that shit. Is like he is like the most iconic celebrity, and it's like he's everyone's favorite like celebrity. Everybody calls him Uncle Snoop. Like I mean everybody. Fucking YG calls him that. Jordan Lucas calls him that. Even Eminem called him that back in the day. I don't know if he calls him that now, but back in the day, like everyone was Uncle Snoop's his favorite, pretty much. Uncle Snoop was everybody's favorites, like rapper out there. And what I really like about this one is how like old school it sounds. Don't get me wrong, every track on this album is new. Like Every track is new. Like it's not a compilation of like a greatest hits album. Like every album on this every song on this album is new, but it does not sound new because like it sounds like an old school album that he would have dropped back in the late 90s. I don't quite remember when he started. I'm pretty sure it was like around like 95 or 96 or something like that. Um, but like it sounds like a very old album by Snoop Dogg, but it isn't. And it's really fucking cool. How he made it sound like all like old school, all funky and all that shit. Um, let me just say first of all, there are 22, yes, 22 new tracks on this album, and the album is about an hour long. So, the best way I can, describe this album is a straight up whole ass hour of Snoop Dogg showing why he's the fucking GOAT. Okay, I don't know if I've ever said this on camera, but Snoop Dogg is definitely like my one of my favorite rappers of all time. He's like on that top 10 for me at least. So it's like every time that he drops something, I'm like, okay, like what are you gonna do, bro? And he definitely impressed the fuck out of me. Like he raps over a lot of old school style beats. And like I heard that most of the songs were produced by Swizz Beats. And he also raps over some new style beats. Like there's one song called "Take Me Away," and it's with Russ and Wiz Khalifa, of course. He has to make a song with his best stoner friend of all time. But what I like about the "Take Me Away" song is that it's a weed anthem. Of course, there has to be one song about weed on this album. Um, and that song was actually produced by Russ himself. So it's like I know a lot of people hate Russ with a fucking passion, and trust me, I get it. He low key is a piece of shit, but he makes some pretty dope music. So that's something that I think we can all agree on. Um, but besides how great the production value is, the stuff that Snoop talks about is really fucking is really deep. I want to say not deep, but it feels really nostalgic. I guess it's pretty much he pretty much takes us on a trip down memory lane pretty much, and he pretty much like he pretty much reminisces on the all the success he had back in the day, and like everything he created. He pays his his um his respect to Death Row. Everybody in Death Row. Corrupt to Daz to Dre, and he even says that whatever happened back then, that he and that he still considers to be cool, great friends with Suge Knight. You know what I mean? It's say whatever you want about Suge. I know that he's low key kind of a piece of shit. He did all this stuff, whatever. Say whatever you want about him. But he paved the way for a lot of great artists. He signed Tupac to Death Row. Dr. Dre to Death Row. Fucking Corrupt. Snoop Dogg. I don't know if Warren G was a part of it. I think he probably was. I would say that that Nate Dogg was also a part of it. But it's he signed all these great artists. And it's they're here now because of him. And it's it's just great to see that someone as old as Snoop Dogg, keep in mind he's about to be 50. He's almost about to be 50, and just to see just how he is still willing to put all this shit out, and put nothing but his best work out is so fucking great. He has a song called "One Blood, One Cuz," that where it's pretty much a tribute to Nipsey Hussle. And I personally know a lot of people who keep telling me when are people gonna shut up about the whole Nipsey Hussle thing. And what I gotta see to that is that what you gotta understand is that Nipsey Hussle was a really important person. It wasn't just because he made good music, but it was because he gave to his community. He gave back to his community, and he wanted to really be a big role model to a lot of people, you know, living in the ghetto or being trapped in like the gangster life, and you know, to just pretty much, you know, letting them know, hey, like a guy like me, you know, made it this far, and I promise you that you guys will be able to make it this far. So, you know, it was a really, you know, sad tribute to Nipsey Hussle, you know, and of course, you know, Snoopy was gonna talk about it. I mean, come on, Snoop Dogg is a Crip, and Nipsey Hussle was a Crip too. So it's like, you know, like, come on, he obviously was gonna talk about him at some point. So it was a really deep song, that one. He also has another song called Misinformed or something like that, and pretty much what he does is he talks about a time way before his own time, and you know, he pretty much, you know, talks about, you know, the history of slavery, and you know, like everything that we accomplished so far as a society. Like yeah, is it perfect, you know, like the way we are living right now? Of course not. You know, there's always gonna be a lot of like horrible shit that's happening. There's always gonna be racism. There's always gonna be like all these like ignorant thoughts, but you know, I think we're doing really good for ourselves, and so, you know, sorry about that, guys. I had something stuck in my throat. I had a cough. But you know, like I was saying, you know, like we may not be perfect right now, but we definitely came a long way from, you know, from you know, from when slavery was still around, pretty much. And that's really what he's trying to say. You know, it's pretty much a whole big album of him, you know, reminiscing on everything he's done as an artist, everything he's done as a person, and just everything that we've done together as a society. You know, I have a lot of favorite songs on this album, and I just can't I can't think of like, you know, which like song I like best. You know, like there are a lot of like, you know, multiple songs that I like. You know, it's the you know, there's an unreleased track with Nate Dogg, and I thought that I was never gonna hear, you know, him again. You know, like I I heard him on that song "What Can We Do" with Anderson .Paak on the Ventura album, and I was like, fuck, like I got like really fucking emotional listening to that song, and just hearing, you know, Nate Dogg once again on this album with like, you know, one of his best friends, you know, fucking, you know, with Snoop Dogg. It's like, you know, it reminded me of why I really love the old school rap. So yeah, you know, that's a really good song, and you know, I guess another song that I also really liked was a song called "Countdown," and it's with Swiss Beats, and I'm not gonna lie, first time I heard this song, you know, it came out as a single, and I had thought that it was like an old song by Snoop Dogg, and you know, I was like, huh, I don't think I've heard of this one, because you know, I can't like think of the name at the top of my head. And then later on I was told that oh no, it's like a new like song by him, and I was like, what the fuck, he sounds like so fucking old school, and like, what the hell. So yeah, I think "Countdown" might be my favorite song. But then again, I can't really choose, you know, like I said, it's a whole ass hour of him showing why he's the fucking GOAT, and I think he has definitely dropped what I consider, you know, one of the best albums so far this year. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I had to say. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram down below. As always, DM me for requests. Go ahead and follow Snoop Dogg on Instagram down below. His new album, "I Wanna Thank Me," is out now. Go listen to it if you haven't already. I swear to you, you will not regret it. You know, it's an hour long. You know, like I said, you know, it's really long, but you know, it's every second of it is really fucking worth it. Like, I think you guys will really enjoy this album. And with that being said, don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell down below for me, so you never miss any uploads, so you can get, you know, notified to see what other video I put up. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to stay happy.
Understand, West Coast son of Sam, drumming with 100 bands, cause that ain't shit to a real Crip, cuz.